Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Metal Chaos. This is your host, Dave. I got a line special guest all the way in England, guitarist Steve Ramsey from Satan. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing fine, thanks. And you?
I'm good. So you
Good,
so,
good, good.
so you ready for your big U.S. tour coming up?
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be the longest we've done so far since we got back together. So it's I think it's 15 dates. So it's a good stretch for us, and we're really looking forward to it.
The Hell's Decibels tour.
Yeah.
And what a
I
great
think
night.
we're starting it off with the Decibel Festival. So it was an idea to have that in the title.
Yeah, what a great tour package of bands that are on that tour.
Yeah, it's really good. We're really pleased to be playing with Night Demon. They're good friends of ours.
Oh yeah, Jarvis is a great guy.
Yeah.
He's also your manager, right?
Yeah. That was a crazy thing that happened as well. I think they did a show with us it was a few years ago in San Francisco, supporting us in San Francisco, and we were having a few problems with the way things, the equipment and stuff like that, and he helped us sort it all out, and then just said, if you guys need a hand, when you come over here, I'm willing to help, and then went from there. Now he's managing the band.
No, that's great. And then you have Haunt and Bewitcher on the tour too.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing them.
Now, when the closest the tour comes to where I'm at will be at Milwaukee at the Blades of Steel Metal Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the title. That's a great title for a festival.
Now, have you guys ever played in Wisconsin in the United States before?
No, I don't think so. I think that's a new one for us. There's a few new places for us on the tour. That's another reason to really look forward to it. Like Milwaukee and places, that we haven't been.
Now, you guys have been to Chicago before?
Sorry?
You've been to Chicago before?
Yeah, we've played Chicago a few times. I think three times so far, and every time it's been great. It's a great place to play. It's always been one of the good ones for us.
Yeah, it's always a very rare occasion to see Satan in concert.
Yeah, we're trying our hardest.
Yeah.
We'd like to play a lot more, and they're getting bigger as we go on, so it's getting better.
Now, the last release was 2018. Now,
Yeah,
are you guys planning on recording any new material?
yeah, we've already started. There's a bit of we've already been in the studio and recorded a song, and it's going to come out on some format in the very near future. Um, and that's a bit of a bonus for everybody. But I've got to I've just been told to keep my mouth shut about it. So that's a little surprise coming, and we always, from one album to the next, we're always straight. As soon as we finish one, we're working on a new one. So we've got a lot of material together, and hopefully we'll find some time this year to get in the studio and be a release for next year, I think.
Yeah, the Cruel Magic was an excellent album.
Thank you very much. We're very pleased with that. It's been since we got back together. We weren't even sure that we were going to do more than a couple of shows, and then to be on our third reformed album, it's just crazy. And that was a real fun album to do.
Now, how long was the recording process to record Cruel Magic?
We tend to just do it in bits. So I think it was maybe over 6 weeks or so. But we go into the studio, not in like for a big amount of time all at once. We sort of pop in and come out. The studio is local to us, so we can kind of like pop in on an evening or the odd days, and, where we're all working and between working, and it works good for us.
Now, what studio did you guys record at?
It's a small studio called First Avenue Studios. It's actually our rehearsal place. and they've got a little studio upstairs, and that's where we lay all the tracks down. At first, we were considering it just for demos, and then we recorded up there and met Dave Curl, the engineer, and he's a great guy, and realised that we could actually record there and then just have it mixed somewhere else,
Now, who was the producer?
The producer's Dario Mollo. He's an Italian guy. He's actually a great guitarist and a good friend. He's played with a few bands. He's played with some guys from Rainbow, the old band Rainbow.
Yep.
And he's a great guitarist, and we met him through our manager in Skyclad, the other band I'm in, and recorded an album over there. And I suggested to the guys when we put Satan back together that it might be a good idea to use Dario. And we actually just send him the tracks, the recorded tracks, and give him some ideas of how we want them. He mixes them, and we do it all just over the internet, and it seems to work great.
Now, who writes all the lyrics for the band? Steve? Okay, we're losing connection here. Hold on. Hello. Let me try to reconnect with him. Hold on. Sorry about that. Steve, can you hear me now?
Hello.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah. It just cut off for a second.
Yeah. So now, who writes all the lyrics for the band, Satan?
We kind of all chip in a little bit. Russ writes a big part of it. And we have like a quality control that we all like what we do. There's no nothing's forced upon anybody. It's all if we're all happy with it, that's when we go ahead.
Now, how about the music? All of you guys write the music too?
Yeah, exactly the same. Again, we come up with the odd riffs and stuff and bits and pieces, put them together, jam them in the rehearsals, and then put them down as tracks. And then usually it starts with the music, and then the lyrics go on later.
Yeah. 1979. That's a long time for this band to be going.
Yeah. It seems a very long time ago now.
Yeah. You guys are considered to be one of the legends of the new wave of British heavy metal now.
Yeah, it's funny, we were tagged on to kind of like to the end of that. And I think at the time that was one of the frustrating things was we were a bit different to most of the bands at the time. I think a little bit more progressive, and the press at the time didn't like what we were doing. And then now we're getting all these accolades sort of years and years later. It's crazy. People actually realizing now that we were doing something, good. Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, you guys are a big influence on a lot of bands out there now.
Yeah, that's really good to know. If you're influencing other people to play and do what they do, that you've achieved basically what you set out to do. That's a big thing for us.
Now let me go back into your musical history, Steve. What age did you begin playing the guitar?
I got a guitar when I was about 15 years old. We were at school. I went to school with Russ. He was at the same school as me, but we didn't really knock around with each other. But we started going to a lot of concerts at the same venues and realised that we were both turning up at the same thing all the time. So we got talking, and he had just got a guitar, and me and a few of my friends went round to have a listen and have a look at his guitar. And he played a few riffs, and I formed a band there. And then I said, right, we're going to form a band. We'll all get instruments. And I told everyone what they were going to play, and then we all went out and got the instruments and put the band together.
Wow.
Crazy.
Now, were you self-taught on guitar, or did you take any lessons?
Yeah. Russ was a few steps ahead, and he picked a few things up. So when I got a guitar, I got that off from him, and then we sort of learned together. And never had a lesson in our lives, either of us. It's all mainly by ear until I started teaching a few years ago. I didn't know how to read a note of music on any kind of. I didn't know what tablature was. Someone said it was numbers on lines. I was like, how does that work? And it was all by ear. And I suppose that created a style that we had as well, because we've got a few little quirks in our playing that probably a teacher might have ironed out, and that helps towards the music.
Yeah. Now, what guitar players were your biggest influences when you started out playing guitar?
Mainly Tony Iommi. That's who I wanted to be. That's why I've got a red SG and everything. And I think on the first single, I called myself Steve I. Ramsey. And I always wanted to be him. But of course, there was all the others like Richie Blackmore and the guys from Judas Priest. I love Thin Lizzy and stuff like that, I got to play with Brian Robertson a couple of times. And yeah, it was that old brigade, Michael Schenker, guys like that.
So listening to Black Sabbath made you want to play guitar?
Basically, yeah. It was Black Sabbath. That's what I wanted to do. I think that's how I came up with the name Satan as well. We thought that would be pretty cool, and I came up with the logo when we were at school. I had it on all my school books, and then that just seemed to, nobody liked that in the 80s. It seems to not matter to anyone now that the band's called Satan, but in the 80s it was very much like everyone decided we were a black metal band and all this, caused us a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
But we just thought it was a cool name for a metal band.
Right. Now, you came up with the name?
Yeah, it was just a logo I'd written on one of my school books. So we decided that was a good idea because of the symmetrical logo looked cool.
Yeah, it is a very cool logo.
Yeah, but then we've spent all our time since we chose that name telling everyone that we don't write anything about the occult and the devil and stuff. And it's been a bit of a curse.
Then you guys recorded Court in the Act. That was another excellent album.
Yeah, that was. I think that we did that album in 2 weeks. It was basically just thrown down live. We played the whole backing track live, and then added a couple of solos and the vocals on top of the album, and you can really hear that. It was a very cheap rush job, but it has that quality about it that it's just some young kids, just getting together in a rehearsal in a studio, like a rehearsal, And I think that's one of its little quirks.
Yeah, I'm sure you never thought that making that first album, you guys would be together all these years.
Yeah, well, we weren't. We did that album, and then we split up with Brian because we thought we're doing something wrong. Changed our direction and our name and everything, and then we never, in a million years, thought in 2011 we'd be back together touring the States and stuff like that. It's just crazy.
Yeah. So after all these years of doing this, what still keeps you passionate about doing this, Steve?
I think it's in your blood. If it's in your blood, it's in your blood. For me, it's the shows. It's playing live shows. I just get a feeling when I play the guitar live that you can't get in any other thing you do in your life. This buzz, this rush of adrenaline, it's irreplaceable, and I just can't wait to do it all the time. If I could, I would tour a lot more, but your other things in your life decide different. But playing live for me has been the thing that I love the most.
Now, how about the 1987 release, Suspended Sentence? How long was that recording?
Again, all these albums were done relatively cheaply. I think maybe 3 weeks for that one. We used to be very well rehearsed as a band, and we'd go in and put the backing tracks down. Again, we would have put the backing tracks down, the two guitars, bass and drums all down in one go, as their live takes. And then patched them up with some solos and then put the vocals on, That's how we used to record in those days.
Then 2013
it's different now with all the technology that we have now. You do things a little different, but that's how it was back then.
Then 2013 was Life Sentence. That was another good album, Life Sentence.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was saying before, we never even had any kind of inclination that, like, when we decided to get back together to do one festival, it was only because Sean had missed out on doing the big concert that we did in Wacken because he had broken his leg, and he'd retrained to play the bass drum on his other foot. And we said, wow, great, if you can play the stuff, we'd go and do a gig for fun. And that was Keep It True in Germany, a festival for like real metal, like old metal fans, And it was such a success that we just continued. And then inevitably, Russ came up with a riff in one of the rehearsals. And we jammed it, and then we added stuff to it, and then it became a song, and then it went on from there. And that's that album. And there was no pressure on us to do it. We didn't have a record deal at the time or anything. We just put it together. We recorded 4 or 5 songs, demoed them, and then nobody was interested. And out of the 2 small labels that were interested, we went with Listenable Records in France. And that's how the band got started again.
Yeah, 2015, Adam to Adam came out.
Yeah, by this time, we recorded Life Sentence. We tried to imagine ourselves back as 18-year-olds, and we would have what we would have done for a follow-up to Caught in the Act. So the style on Life Sentence and the way we play it, and we restricted ourselves in some little ways, technically and kind of in knowledgeable wise. We held some stuff back, and by the time we got to playing Atom by Atom, we were sort of letting ourselves go a bit. You get like the epic tracks like Fall of Persephone and stuff like that. Which we kind of held ourselves back a bit with Life Sentence. It's a bit more sort of punchy, raw in your face.
Now, during the years that you weren't doing Satan, you had Pariah and Blind Fury?
Yeah, we did that in the 80s, yeah. We changed our name to Pariah. Blind Fury first, with one singer, and really changed our direction until it was unrecognisable as Satan. Then we came back as Satan, and then we were getting the same problems being called Satan, linked in with death metal and stuff, so we changed our name again to Pariah. And did a couple albums as Pariah, yeah, and we were quite successful in Europe with that as well.
Now, have you ever done any guest guitar work on anybody's albums?
But not any big albums, just little bits of stuff, just for friends and bands and stuff.
So now, the first guitar you got when you were 16, do you remember what kind of guitar it was?
It was a Les Paul copy, and it was like a gold top, except the gold top was basically sticky tape. And I was left-handed. I am left-handed, and it was a left-handed. It was a right-handed guitar turned upside down, and I learned like that for about 18 months, and then I broke my hand playing basketball. My right hand, and I couldn't make a chord again. One of the bones in my hand in my little finger broken, formed, reset in a weird shape. So I had to change and start playing right-handed.
Wow.
And then after that I got the SG, and then that was that, yeah. But I had to learn again. It was a bit of an uphill struggle. So now I play right-handed, but I'm left-handed.
Yeah, you have to play the SG like Tony Iommi, huh?
Yeah, that's what I've always wanted. That was the big dream, was to get that guitar. And I remember getting the guitar and being really excited about it, and then meeting Tony Iommi backstage at the Black Sabbath gig, getting to talk to him for a couple of minutes, and asked him what pickups he uses, because I wanted to get the same pickups. And then he told me that some guy that lived in the Outer Hebrides hand winds them for him. I was like, okay, I'm not going to get them then, am I? That's never going to happen. It's crazy.
So currently, how many guitars do you own now?
I've got 3 SGs. I've got a 1972, an older one that used to have a Bigsby on it. I've got a very new one that I bought. It was actually to record the last album, because the one I had before that, I went into the studio and I'd bashed it around so much live that it was just, I couldn't, the intonation was so shot, we couldn't even fix it to record the record. So I went straight out and just bought a new guitar and did the album with a new guitar. And that's the live guitar now. It just gets fixed up and bashed around and then fixed up again. And I keep one for just the studio so that it doesn't get wrecked.
Yeah. Now, are you guys planning on doing any European tours this year?
Yeah, we've got one in December. We went out February last year, and then we're going to do December this year and do. I think it was 10 shows the last time. It'll be similar this time. A couple of weekends with some shows in between, and we're going to do that in December. And there's some plans for October. And if they come off, that'll be really exciting, because we're hoping to be able to go to Australia for the first time. So that'll be fun.
Oh yeah, Australia should be a good time.
Yeah, it's these things are like cropping up now, and we think that's never going to happen. But I remember thinking that we got to go to Japan 4 years ago, and I thought that would never ever happen. I've been in bands for years and years and years and never dreamed of going to the States or Japan, and then we'd done both, and especially with the States, we've been there a few times now, and we're hoping to go back to Japan again this year, and Australia had that one on, so it's crazy.
So how are you guys received in Japan?
It was fantastic. We did it. It was like a club show. It was about 500 people. But it was like a little festival. It was the label that we were signed to, a small label, and they were using it as a sort of showcase for some of the other bands they'd signed. So we just headlined the 2 nights. We did the 2 nights in the same club and just did a different set the second night. So we played in Tokyo for 2 nights and then came home. I hope this time we're hoping to get to some different cities, Osaka and places,
Now, did you guys get to explore Japan at all while you're out there?
A little bit. We had a couple of days off, and it was right. The weekend we were there was actually a public holiday, like a festival time, and there was a lot of performances and stuff going on. Like real traditional Japanese stuff, and that was great to be a part of that. It was just a lucky timing that we were there at the time. Yeah, so we had a good time.
Yeah, me, I'm 100% Japanese, but I've never been to Japan.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, I was born in the United States.
Wow, you need to get over there. It's great. I think it's my favorite place I've been, because it's such a different kind of culture shock. Like a culture thing. It's just great.
So now, what would you consider to be your fondest memory of the band Satan?
Wow, there's so many. I think would have to go back to that gig. When we got back together, when we did Keep It True, that was the big thing that happened. That we were. I think we were third down on the fourth down on the bill. We weren't lining about 1,500 people or so. And when we arrived there, they said we were going to have a little signing session, which we thought, there'll be a couple of kids want us to sign something, a couple of fans. And are you still there?
Yeah. So it turned out to be a lot more people.
Yeah. Yeah, the signing session lasted for over an hour.
Oh.
And it was just a constant. It was almost like we signed in the whole show, everybody got a signature from us on something, on a record or a shirt or it was crazy. And then we realized that was before the gig, and we realized, wow, this is people were trying to tell us that there was this buzz on the internet about the band getting back together, and we kind of didn't believe it, And until that gig, and that was like, it was just so great. And then everything we've experienced from then was been because of that night. So that got us back together.
Wow, you guys have a big impact on people.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that we're still being able to do that. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Long may it last.
Yeah. So now, Steve, can you think of one most embarrassing moment you've had on stage with the band?
Oh God, there was a show we did in the early days. We used to do little pub shows when we first put the band together.
Uh-huh.
And but we had dreams of being a lot bigger than playing in these little pub shows, these tiny pubs.
Yeah.
And we used to take in pyrotechnics and set them off in like very small spaces before they banned them all. And there was one time we got these things called gerbs. They're like sort of big sparklers. They send up sparks, like big long trail of sparks. And it set fire to the ceiling in the venue.
No.
And the tiles were melting and falling down on the audience.
Oh no!
and then at the end of that song in particular, we hit the last chord, and I threw my guitar up in the air, like they do on a big stage.
Yeah,
but the ceiling was so low, it just hit the ceiling and fell down, smashed in half. That was goodbye guitar. That was quite embarrassing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Trying to think we're in a huge band, we're in a tiny pub.
Yeah. Now, Steve, what kind of advice would you give to young bands that are starting out today?
Wow, I would just say, in particular, the lesson that we learned was to stick to your guns. We should never have split the original lineup of the band, and we should never have changed what we were doing because we thought the press didn't like it or the fans or whatever, people didn't like it, Stick to your guns, and in the end, that's the thing that'll be successful.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you a few more questions. Now, these are some fun questions now. You ready?
Right.
What is your favorite food you like to eat?
Food, I love Chinese food.
Any
kind of Chinese food, just like all of it.
Now, do they have good Chinese food out there in England?
Well, we have takeaways and stuff, but if especially when we're on tour and stuff, I always try to find a nice. We've been to some great places in the States where we've had some Asian food, and like Vietnamese and stuff that we'd never tried in England as well. And it's any food like that. It's generally from that area that I love. That's great.
Okay, now what's your favorite beverage you like to drink?
It's beer.
What kind of beer?
Well, any sort of Pilsner, like European. Normally German is the best. German beer. That's normally what I tend to slope towards the most. English beer is rubbish. And I don't like real ale that we drink in England. I don't like the dark beer. I like Pilsner beer. And I like the odd whiskey as well, if it's a decent single malt.
Okay. Now, how about non-alcohol? What's your favorite beverage, non-alcoholic?
It's strange, but I just tend to drink a lot of water. I don't really drink anything. I'll have fruit juice, but mainly water. Yeah. It doesn't have to be flavored for anything for me. It's just water's fine.
Yeah, water is always good for you.
Yeah.
Now, what are your top three favorite bands of a whole lifetime?
Wow. Right. Well, Black Sabbath. And then the next two are going to be difficult. Queen. Yeah, I would say Queen. Early Queen. It's like I'm kind of like that with Queen and Judas Priest. I only like half of their music. It's like what they did in the 70s kind of thing, and then when they get into the 80s, I don't like it so much. But Queen definitely influenced me a lot, and musically. And Queen. Maybe Rainbow. The Rainbow albums with Ronnie G, James Dio, they're all fantastic albums. I think they influenced us a lot when we were kids as well.
Okay. Now, what was the first metal concert you ever went to?
Wow. I think it was the Scorpions Love Drive tour.
Nice.
I can't think of a one before that, or it may have been. It was either that or Motorhead. Sure. But that was the kind of stuff we were getting into, when we were young. And then these are the bands that wanted me to get up on stage. I remember seeing the Scorpions and just imagining what it would be like to be them instead of us.
Yeah.
and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be up there doing that. Yeah.
Now, how many social media sites can we find the band Satan on?
Maybe them all. I don't look at them all. I don't know anything about Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. But we have people that do things like that. So I think maybe you can find us on most of them. I wouldn't know.
Now, do you guys have an online store where people can buy your merchandise?
Yeah. There's all that. There's a big store that's doing a lot of stuff now. It changed. It was just our sort of website, and now it's changed to an actual company that do that for us now and provide us with our merchandise for touring and stuff. It's all linked to. You can go on the Satan's band page on Facebook, and I think we also have a website, and that's got some little bits and pieces on too.
Awesome. Well, Steve, I want to thank you very much for taking time with me to do an interview today.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Now, do you have any final words or anything before we close out?
I just want to say, if you like the band, I'm really looking forward to seeing you out there live and maybe having a beer after the show.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Steve. You have a great day.
Great. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.